Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I have a motion to approve the agenda, please.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
A motion by Mr. Robertson, a second by Ms. Schroeder. Please vote.
Yes.
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 Yes. Okay, certification of the April 7, 2026.
I move to
Board of-
approve. Excuse me,
Board of
sorry.
Education election results. Dr. Saketa.
Okay, we had an election on April 7th, 2026, as you know. We had 3 incumbents that put their name in to run for the board again, even though there were no other opposing candidates, because the election was held on the same as a bond election. The individuals' names, Ms. Schroeder, Ms. Sherrick, and Mr. Robertson's names appeared on the ballot. All 3 received a significant number of votes, and they will all be sworn in tonight. The election results are final, and I suggest and recommend that proceed with their swearing.
I move to approve the April 7, 2026 Board of Education election results.
Second.
A motion by Mr. Hartwell, a second by Mr. Weaver. Please vote.
Yes.
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 Yes. Motion is approved. May I have a motion to adjourn sine die, please?
So moved.
Seconded.
A motion by Mr. Hartwell, a second by Mr. Hurd. Please vote.
Yes.
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 Okay. So now I would like to call to order the reorganization meeting of the Board of Education. I have approval
We gotta
for the
swear.
agenda.
We have swear in.
Oh, so I'm sorry. Let's swear in our board members first. So let's move.
I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Missouri, and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of the school district in and for Joplin schools, counties of Jasper and Newton, State of Missouri, to the best of my ability and faith.
It's changed.
Oh, thank you. Thanks.
I was hoping that would reach you.
Okay, now we'll get back to order. So do we have approval of the agenda? Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Hurd made a motion for the agenda to be approved. Ms. Schroeder seconded the motion. All in favor? Can we go around?
Yes.
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 Okay. So now it is time for nominations for the board president.
I nominate David Weaver.
Okay, we have David
Second.
Weaver nominated. A second from Mr. Hurd. Any other nominations? Any other nominations for board president? Okay, please vote.
Yes.
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 Okay, thank you. Since there are no other nominations, that's all is necessary. And now we will have nominations for vice president of the Board of Education. Do I have any nominations?
I would like to nominate John Hurd.
Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Okay,
Yes.
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 okay. We have Mr. Weaver as our president and Mr. Hurd as our vice president. Congratulations.
Good.
Okay, and now, Mr. Weaver, we switch seats.
You should have in front of you Board Policy BBFA. We'd like for you to review that this evening.
Don't you guys
Oh,
want to swatch
nameplates.
nameplates?
Yes, we got a new nameplate.
This to John. Send me his.
This one. Carries.
It's a hard day. A lot of stress, a lot of stuff going on. Yeah. Gives us time to read.
Mr. Weaver, do we have a form to sign in association with BBFA? Thank you.
Okay, that brings us to the next item on our agenda here, Board President's reports. First will be celebrations.
Here you go.
All right, our first slide is Teacher Proud Tuesday. This is Linda Gray. Linda Gray is one of our amazing teachers at North Middle School. Some of the kind things said about her were that she keeps the students engaged and excited about learning. Mrs. Gray is compassionate, kind, and dedicated, and she always has a positive attitude and passes kindness out to those around her. This always brightens my day. Any student would be lucky to have such a devoted teacher. Congratulations, Linda Gray.
That's awesome.
Support staff star Cody Gilstrap. Cody works as the kitchen manager at East Middle School, where according to Principal Cravens, he holds this whole place together. Cody's nominator agreed. Cody is always polite, aware of other staff members' time, and carries the load of a very busy department with efficiency and kindness. He does a great job keeping it all together. Cody is someone that we will always look forward to seeing. He is always ready with a smile, even with his super busy workload. Congratulations, Cody. Elementary academic all-stars. Last week, we celebrated a little over 600 4th and 5th grade academic all-stars. These all-stars did a great job on their MAP scores last year, and we wanted to celebrate their success as they prepare to take them again this year. Many thanks as well to our event volunteers from Sanborn Financial Coaching, Phoenix Home Health Care, and Leaseman Insurance Agency, and to our event sponsors, Tamco Building Products, LLC, Leaseman Insurance, Skyway Buick, Missouri American Water, Mercy, Mid-America Bank, Annie Sharp, and Liberty Utilities. Next is another great year from Joplin High School Theater Department production. Last weekend, the Joplin High School Theater Department put on a production of The Wizard of Oz. It was truly a wonderful show that showcased some of the very talented students and staff. And then we have our student advisors report. I believe Sarah Coyne will be presenting that this evening.
Yes. So these are the celebrations from Joplin High School that our student advisors submitted to us. We want to celebrate the FCCLA students who attended the state competition recently and came home with gold and silver medals. Congratulations to Kendall Nyarango and Diana Holt, who received first place and qualified for nationals in Washington, D.C., and Gabby Dewar brought home a silver medal. Also, students competing with DECA last month, Nicholas Brady and Jacob Tatum will move on to nationals in the DECA competition in Atlanta. I believe that's this month. And they will present in the Project Management Business Solutions category and the Financial Consulting category. So congratulations to both of them as they move forward. Also proud of our JROTC Raider team. They competed at the Missouri Military Academy meet recently, bringing home 2 trophies. They earned second place in the one rope bridge and physical team test. We're very proud of them. Several students with our Joplin High School Science Research class have recently competed at the MSSU Science Fair and brought home a multitude of awards. Students were Jillian Petty, Lilia Soderstrom, Teddy Miller, Angel Awar, and Brendan Fain. So many medals that I'm not going to read them all, but Jillian Petty and Brendan Fain took second place overall, meaning they get to attend the International Science and Engineering Fair this summer in Phoenix, Arizona. Congratulations to all of them, and their season will continue, I believe, with other competitions. FFA students are going to state as well. The poultry evaluation team earned second place with students Callie Welshofer, Stella Breesley, and Aubrey Johnson, all being recognized as top 10 individuals in their presentations. Then the parliamentary procedure team earned third place overall, showcasing excellent leadership, communication, and teamwork skills. Finally, this wonderful display. It looks like this is on the second floor just above the counseling department. The counseling office has made an exhibit to help celebrate our seniors on their acceptances into their next steps where they're going for post-secondary opportunities, and that looks fantastic. We're very thankful to them for doing that as another way to celebrate our seniors this year.
Okay. Thank you very much. Before we get to the reports, I would like to recognize Dr. Dickey for recently getting a certification, an international certification by the Association of School Business Officials. She recently became a SFO certified, internationally recognized administrator based on recognition of standard assessment for school business officials. And I know she put a lot of work in that, and that is good for us in a lot of reasons, but her continued effort for professional development and also for everything else in the finance department. So we appreciate your efforts, Dr. Dickey.
Congratulations, Dr. Dickey. Well done. Dr. Sked on Eagle Bond Report.
Okay, so I just want to give a quick overview of what happened on April 7th. And just a thank you. We have several people here in the audience, and I'll let Dr. Harding recognize them by name here in just a couple minutes, and we have something for you. The Eagle Bond passed with a vote of over 75.5% on April 7th. That was almost 19% above the needed supermajority. So when you think about that, 57.14% was needed, and we got almost 75.6% of the vote. The Long Range Facility Committee, we have several members here in the audience. They were fabulous with the work that they did over a 2-year span, and we needed every bit of that to get us in the position that we were in. To bring that to the board, the community was also enlisted along the process. There were lots of presentations, even during the Long Range Facility planning part of the program out in the community, and we got a lot of input. Then the Board of Education took the brave step to move forward and also put $11 million down from reserves that we're in the process of completing right now, and we're on par to get that done in the 1st of August at 3 of our elementary schools. So we appreciate that. And then we took it here at the board level, and we said we're going to go for a $40 million bond issue late in the fall. And then the Eagle Bond Committee got together. Some members of the audience are here tonight from the Eagle Bond Committee. They were fabulous and they were outside of the school district, by the way. They worked on their own to support what was going on with the bond issue. And they had lots of inventive ideas, very extensive, very comprehensive. The board was steadfast and also said, you know, if we pass a bond issue, we're going to throw another $10 million in to make sure that we have a $61 million spend to really get this work done, because there's a lot of work that was identified. And I want to say thank you to everybody involved in the administration here, all the people that gave us feedback. It was a fabulous day to be a Joplin Eagle, so thank you very much. I also appreciate our partners with CGA and Crossland Construction for their work along the way, because they stood by us the whole way, and they will continue to be by us throughout this process. Dr. Harding?
So we have some certificates to hand out, so if you can all come up here when I call your name. We will start with Long Range Facility, Elena Liu, who was co-chair of the Long Range Facility Committee, and also getting another certificate for being part of Eagles Forward. So we appreciate her work on both of those. Then we have Brock Compton, another member of the Long Range Facility Committee, co-chair. And David Cumier, who provided a lot of great insight for us throughout the process. And then couldn't have done this without Chad Greer, who's, 100%. And then Dave Pettit. Sorry.
Yeah,
Dave is still working off all the miles he walked. So. We also have Ed Ration. Last but not least, David Weaver, who was a part of the process.
Okay, so certificates of prominence, please.
Okay, next on the agenda, we have our nurse overview report. Dr. Pattison.
Number 2.
And it's not on mine, but we can have our construction update. Let's get it. Sorry, it's not on mine.
Sorry, we'll have Chad come up here. Aaron Height could not make it tonight. He is at a track meet. So we have some updated pictures and a lot of roofs going on, a lot of closing spaces. So here's Jefferson, the outer wall. This is Dave making his way across the site. This is the current look of the kindergarten room. It is one picture because they both look almost exactly the same on both sides. So that would be the kindergarten room on the south side of the building. This portion right here is the addition on the north side of the building. The picture on the right is the special education room, the new special education room for Jefferson. And the picture on the left is the new 4-year-old classroom at Jefferson. And then this is the picture of where they have tied in the addition along to the library. So if you look on the left, that's where the library, you look straight into the library. And then that's the hallway that connects the new port to the old part of the building. Still staying on the same milestones. New completion and 5/8 interior starting on 5/26. They feel like substantial completion by 8/3 and final completion by 8/14. So as of right now, they're still sticking with that schedule. And then McKinley, this is the updated picture of the new addition at McKinley. This is a picture of the 4-year-old classroom at McKinley. There's also a picture, there's an art room and the music room on that new addition, but they all right now look very similar to each other, so it's hard to tell one from the other. But occupancy new build, same thing, 5/8, interior start 5/26, substantial completion 8/3, and final completion still on track for 8/14. And then here's a picture on the back side of the dock, the new parking spaces in the dock that's going into the back of McKinley. So they ran into some old piping there, so it kind of delayed it just a little bit, but they feel very confident they got that fixed and tied in, and should be pouring concrete this week to prepare for that. The picture on the right is a picture of the art room at McKinley, the new art room. And then Royal Heights, there's a picture of the exterior. The sun's a little bit there, but even if the sun isn't there, it's very hard to tell the difference between the new section and the old section. They did a tremendous job of combining those two bricks. And then there's a picture of our proud principal and the kindergarten classroom she's standing in. And like I said, both classrooms look exactly the same. So that's what the picture, the learning walls will be, they'll share a learning wall, and then both rooms have the same space. Both have closets. And so it'll be a nice space for those teachers when they move in. And they're same thing on track with occupancy, interior start, substantial completion, final completion. So to kind of give a picture, and Chad, you can jump anytime you want to, but so we're still working on this. This was kind of the original meeting before the bond planned out. So for Jefferson, Royal Heights, McKinley, all phase 1 additions, renovations, corridors will be completed this August. Site improvements for those 3 buildings, as well as Eastmoreland, Stapleton, and Cecil Floyd and Kelsey Norman, will take place next summer of August 2027. Well, during the school year for the outside new additions or outside work will take place during the school year. Interior stuff will take place summer of 27, and then all classroom renovations for all the buildings will take place summer of 28. And then the Talent Center, once those plans are still kind of out there. Ideally, right now, looking at completion either fall or winter or spring, somewhere in that vicinity, 27, 28, depending on when they can start construction.
Yeah, things are great update. Thank you, by the way. The phase 1 projects are going very well. They're on schedule, under budget. We are looking within the next few weeks to start doing the punch list for the addition components of those projects. And then the summer work will begin. So very excited that that's tracking very well. Phase 2 projects, the entire team's very excited, obviously, about the work ahead. And so that work is gearing up. We are starting on all the projects, and things are going very well.
So Chad, we are in the dry now on all 3 of the phase 1 projects. Is that
Yes,
correct?
That's correct.
Great. Thank you.
They even test fired the air at McKinley for me today, and I told them to turn it off real quick. So it works.
Yeah, Jefferson, next week, they fire up the HVAC so they can start drying it out and installing the flooring, and then they'll follow behind with some of the millwork. So it's tracking very well.
Mr. Greer, question for you on some of our current phase one projects. We have in the second phase of that parking lots, specifically Jefferson and McKinley. Are those, I guess my question is, one, some of those parking lots have been severely disrupted because of the construction.
Yes.
And they've taken, I'd say, a pretty heavy beating. So is there, can you walk me through the rationale for spring of 27 on those parking lots of those two? I assume that's the case for site improvements.
Yeah, that's correct. So in regards to those we're kind of treating those like civil standalone projects since they don't involve any structures by themselves. There's going to be a certain amount of detention, roadway work that's going to have to take place. So the decision was made early on to kind of use some of those areas for the laydown yards and staging areas, knowing that they were going to be a part of those intended improvements. Anything that's outside of those improvements, if there's been any wear and tear associated with those, for the phase one projects will be cleaned up as before Crossland kind of leaves those projects. I don't know if that answered your question.
Yeah, I know in some of them there's been pretty serious cuts in the concrete.
So
areas.
we discussed that in McKinley today, if that's what you're talking about. So McKinley, obviously they've had to dig through the parking lot to run detention, to run water and some other things. So we had talked about, since the bond has passed and phase two will be there, instead of fixing that and then possibly having to go in and tear it all up again to add the parking lot, they're just going to patch it together, then wait, and then do the whole thing at once. So it all
Right.
looks like
No,
one
I
big brand new
would
parking
certainly
lot,
be
so.
in favor of that. And I think my comment is to Jefferson is we have, some pretty significant, for that neighborhood, I think of the people that live there, we've done some pretty serious changes across the street, right?
Certainly.
And there's some major, that's quite some time for that to sit unattended as well. We have homes that we've purchased at Royal Heights that are currently uninhabitable, that people are not living in, that we're maintaining. So I guess my question is, we go through it, is the rationale for, if they're already there, what spring of 27 looks like, because we're then disrupting those buildings again, we're disrupting those neighborhoods again. And that's my concern about the people that live and work and go to those buildings every day.
Right. Yeah, so yeah, it's a great point. And obviously those projects were originally scheduled kind of after the bond issue passed. I know the team is currently working on those. Any of the work associated with, especially the north side of Jefferson where those houses were removed, those areas will all be cleaned up and, to the best of their ability before the projects are completed and before the contractors leave. But you're right, they will sit there for a certain amount of time in preparation for the upcoming work associated with those civil packages.
Sure. And we anticipate that 1 year from this time?
I would say slightly less of that, yeah. But yeah, that's a good assessment, yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, no other questions? Thank you very much, Chad, appreciate it.
Thank you.
And my apologies to everybody, I picked up the wrong agenda, so I'll try to get back on track here. Our nurse program overview report. Dr. Pattison.
We have Carrie Snedden, our nurse coordinator, here this evening to give an update on our nursing program.
First, I just wanted to briefly highlight just a few things that our nurses do on a daily basis and yearly basis. Of course, obviously, there's the first aid and illness that they take care of. They manage our students with higher needs, seizures, asthma, diabetes, tube feedings, medication administration. There's a lot of paperwork that is involved in a lot of that as well. So they're managing that too. There's hearing and vision screenings. They precept nursing students, often from our Franklin Tech program, facilitate telemed visits. KCU Score One is involved with our elementary schools, so they help out with that. We have access dental that comes to all the schools every year, and a lot of immunization records, compliance, state reports, And then we also have clinics at our middle and high school levels. And then there's always the daily charting. Any kid that walks through the door, we chart on. They see anywhere from 30 to 80 visits a day, depending on the school. So it keeps pretty busy in some of our offices. And then also there's training of other staff members, whether it's to give meds on field trips and stuff like that.
I've got a question. The KCU Score One for Health, how has that been received, both with, I guess, on-site staff and with the community in general?
I would say a little mixed sometimes, positive, and then there's some complaints that sometimes we work through and try to, we have yearly evaluations with them at the end of the year to both give and receive feedback.
If a provider had questions about or feedback for that, would they contact you or would they contact KCU for that?
If a provider asked us questions about
Well, had feedback for the type of things are being referred to them, conditions.
I would think they would talk to the families.
Well, I mean, overall for the, okay, sorry.
Sorry,
This-
no.
And this may not, maybe I should talk to you after hours, but I've gotten feedback from 2 different medical providers in town where students are being referred to their primary care physician where there's no need for it. They're misdiagnosed, which not a big deal. I mean, it's not, oh no, but it's just time out of the parents and the student's day to pull them out of school to go to the primary care doctor when they're being sent there unnecessarily. And it'd be different if it was just once, but it's happened multiple times.
Yeah, I would love to talk to you more on it.
Okay.
Let's see, just a few areas we focused on this year. So we have CERP protocols, so our cardiac emergency response teams and protocols that we're getting in place. We've created a district-wide CERP plan, and then we'll have individual protocols for each school building. Currently, the teams are being put together, so they still have yet to receive further training, but they will be trained in CPR, first aid, AED care. Nurses have been placing signage around the buildings for awareness of the AED locations, as well as abbreviated CERP protocols. If you find someone unresponsive, call 911 and start that cycle of what we need to do in those events. We've also been working on Stop the Bleed this year. We have new laws having us have that in place by the end of the year. Nurses, principals, additional staff members throughout the building have all been trained on that and certified. We also have Stop the Bleed kits that are in each of our AED cases as well. We've also tried to focus on some of the telemed promotion. I have a slide. The next slide shows a little bit about where our numbers have looked like. It's kind of stayed a little steady the past few years, but it's still been a valuable resource to us. We've had a few news segments, Parent Square reminders. We've added some videos to the Joplin Schools page, as well as a flow chart of when is a good time to utilize it. And then we have some schools that have set up a little station where the staff can take their own vitals, call in their visits if the nurse office is busy. And so that can help us get some more visits as well. And then also hearing screenings. We're trying to encourage our nurses and our speech language pathologists to kind of work together to try to get those screenings done earlier in the year, and maybe set a screening date that they can get more of those done as they work together. And this is just a little overview of the past few years of Freeman telemedicine in the district. So we had a decent increase after that first year, and then it's kind of stayed a little steady the past few years. A few partnering resources. Joplin Health Department, we work with them a lot regarding immunizations. We're currently holding clinics this month. We've had all of them at all the middle schools so far, and then the high school is the last one, which will be next week. And then also Access Dental Clinic comes to all of our buildings once a year, and they provide preventative care, cleanings, x-rays, fluoride treatments, sealants, extractions. They can do quite a bit, and if they can't do it there, they will refer them for follow-up treatment as well. And so there's some numbers on what we've seen last year. And then finally, we did Score One again. Some of the things they do are the screenings, which again, we can talk more on that. And then these are required to have a signed permission form from parents or guardians. They're screenings that are done by supervised medical students, along with community nurses will do vision screenings. There's also some dental screenings as well. And then they offer additional programs outside of those screenings, One of them is the CHAMPS program, where they do a one-on-one health coaching with families, and they'll do that over a span of 6 to 8 visits. And then Anatomy Academy is another one they do, that they come into some of the Joplin elementary schools and teach some anatomy and science and nutrition-based lessons as well. So that's all I have. Any questions?
Any questions for Carrie?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Taking care of our students.
Thank you. Okay, Dr. Dickey, we have health and dental reports followed by financial statements.
All right, first up for health and dental. This is for the month ending March 31st, 2026. It's the ninth month in the fiscal year. We'd spent a little over 7.4 million, and I'll be watching that through April and May. It's not uncommon for us to need to do a budget adjustment mid-year, and I have not adjusted that budget. And so we just watch it to make sure we're matching the ins and the outs. So it's likely you might see something for that in the next month or two. Total revenues for the healthcare plan were a little over 707,000, and total disbursements were a little over 810,000, with an ending balance of $508,881.91. It's a little down from last month, but we are tracking well with April, and we are on track to end the year with a balance, and so we can continue working through our plan to build the reserves up in the health fund. HPAC meets tomorrow, and so we will continue those conversations moving forward with the HPAC team. And then for the dental plan, revenues for the dental fund were $30,745, and our ending balance is $217,344.63. Any questions on health and dental?
Doctor. I just had a comment. We've been looking at a forward 6-month projection. I'd encourage us to keep doing that on the health fund, because I think it's going to be close.
Yep.
Dollar-wise, not sure, but it'll be close. So we should always take that 6-month look ahead, so there's no surprises. If you would, please.
Absolutely agree. I update our sheet every time I get a bill in on Friday, so that we are watching how it's tracking. But absolutely agree with you. It needs close attention. Riley?
Dr. Dickey, question. Last year, and if you can walk us through this. So last year at this time, we had right at 2.5 million in quick look at the 22nd meeting in 2025. We had 2.5 million in our balance. This year we have 508,000. Our revenues are up by about $110,000 over this time last year, as well as our budget last year was 8.1 million. This year it's 8.9 million. I know we had a health insurance increase. Can you walk us through what the plan is to build that reserve? $508,000 and some change is low, and I think to John's point, we want to really be thoughtful as to how we project that out. But for those who are depending on the plan and as we administer that, can you walk us through what that looks like over the next 6 months?
Yep. So just kind of the reminder piece is that we had a really rough year with some very high claims. So if you kind of look through that detailed sheet, looking from March of 2025 to current, we had 4 months where we were well over $1 million in expenses. And we had some months that were very close to that, $900,000. And so those were just up tremendously, and it certainly made a huge impact on the overall balance. So we have been tracking this weekly, making sure that we can maintain a balance through the end of the current plan year, which resets October 1st. And so as we are planning for next year and budgeting, and we're working with HPAC, we will be bringing in the next few months, and hopefully Justin can remind me the actual month, our recommendation for what premiums need to do next year. And so those have not been officially decided, as we haven't met with HPAC and they haven't made their recommendation, but we are budgeting to ensure that it balances well with the raise package that we're bringing you tonight with our JNEA bargaining agreement, so that we are able to make additional contributions to the fund and then balance it between district contribution and minimal staff contribution. So my plan is that with an increase in premiums, hopefully we'll see an additional $1 million in revenue over the next plan year. And then we are tracking much better than we were over the last 12 months, or when we look at the prior plan year and those balances dropping from 2.5 million to 500,000. So we're working through that and watching so that we can bring our best data and recommendations to HPAC, and that then they can bring a solid recommendation to you all.
Thank you.
So the cycle goes like this. We're going out to bid now. We generally bring that to the board in July. So we'll be meeting with our broker tomorrow, and she'll be giving us those updates of what we're going out to bid with. We don't have those bids back yet, of course, but as we get those back, HPAC will meet again. They'll make the recommendations usually in July.
Thank you.
Were there other questions about health and dental fund? Okay. Financial statements, looking pretty typical for a month ending March 31st, 2026. Miscellaneous accounts at UMB total a little over 164,000. And then we had 9.1 million in general investment and debt service accounts, and then almost 112 million invested with MOSIP and MOCAT. And we are seeing our bills coming through for the phase 1 project, and that's getting exciting. And then we will gear up for our summer months when we will encumber all of our summer payrolls, and those will hit the books before we end June 30th. Questions on those?
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, public comments, Mrs. Worsler, do we have any comments? Being there are no comments, that brings us to our consent agenda.
I move for approval of the consent agenda.
We have a motion by Mrs. Sherrick, a second by Ms. Musser. Any further discussion? Please vote.
Yes.
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 Yes. Brings us up to the first item on our regular agenda, accounts payable. Dr. Dickey.
Okay, so there are 2 bill cycles on the accounts payable that you have in front of you. The total cost is $11,620,710.04. Increases over the same time period last year come from the Crossland bill that is reflected in the bill list. We made the first payment towards the Cecil Floyd HVAC project, and we're very excited about that, but we paid down part of that, and then just normal payroll increases.
Any questions for Dr. Dickey? I'd entertain a motion to pay the bills.
So moved.
Second?
We have a motion by Ms. Schroeder, a second by Mr. Hurd. Any further discussion? Please vote.
Yes.
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 Next up is an agreement between Joplin Schools, JNEA, and JESP.
I'm going to ask both of our unions to come up, and I'm going to switch around some microphones real quick. So every year we enter into negotiations with our unions with JESP and JNEA. We cycle those to where we do language and compensation with one and just compensation with the other. So this year was with our teachers, and we did language in the agreement as well as compensation. And then with JESP, we met with just for compensation. So I'm not going to steal their thunder and let them speak. Since you were doing language and compensation, Crystal, would you like to start?
I would love to. Even though we had planned that they would go first, but it's fine. It's fine.
You guys do whatever you want to do. That's fine.
I have so little time to be able to tease Justin on camera. I will start. Thank you again. We have such a good working relationship with Justin and the whole team, and we are very blessed in that here in Southwest Missouri, because we do honor our bargaining agreement, and I know that our teachers are very happy with the relationship we have, because it's always nice when HR works with the union, and that's a really, really positive thing. We come to you this is our 10th year. This is officially our 10th year bargaining with the district, and I think it's been nothing but positive. It has been a really, it has grown to be something that I think teachers in Southwest Missouri and surrounding areas come to our district because we are a bargained agreement district. So it is nice. I also feel like with it being 10 years, we've had an opportunity to talk to a lot of teachers that have stayed the course, and it's something that they don't take for granted. They're appreciative of the fact that we can work together. And Dr. Dickey, thank you, because you took all the hard questions from us, and it was wonderful to have that conversation. Same with Dr. Mwangi for talking about language. So do you want me to go over what was approved, or are we just discussing, I'm asking for the board to approve, or are we doing that? How do we want to do this?
You can talk about as much as you want. If you want to talk about what we changed and what we added, that's fine as well. They have that in they have the bargain agreement, but
if you're welcome to ask. What we did agree upon is something that teachers have asked for years, and we are working towards the opportunity to give teachers a little bit more, I don't want to say freedom, but the opportunity that they can use time
more flexibly.
Flexible, and opportunity to say, we do have to take care of something, so let's use our personal leave. So that was something we were very excited about. Also, we have our agreement. We're really trying to retain our teachers to have them retire here and have that the paid time from sick time at the very end. We have that now in our agreement, and I think that that's something that's very beneficial. So we like that we were able to come to that consensus and sign that in as a bargain agreement. So
some things I learned from Crystal that I wasn't sure of until we went into bargaining was that we are recruiting teachers from other areas. I think you mentioned Northwest Arkansas, that we've had teachers
yes,
come
we've had
in,
teachers looking,
which
at
is a rarity because they pay so much more down there, but they're coming up here because of the union and the bargain agreement. And so it's been, I think, both the administration and the union's goal to make Joplin schools the employer of choice, and we've worked together in that aim for 10 years.
Exactly. Yes.
And we're super excited about the package that Dr. Dickey has worked hard to bring
Yes,
tonight.
very much.
And I think the union was very appreciative of that in the negotiations in the meeting.
And we were very aware of the climate. And I think that working together has been a positive for everyone involved. So thank you.
I would just add also, like Crystal mentioned, that our bargaining agreement has become a model document that's shared around the state.
Yeah, so Bert is our UNISERV director, and I always love when they're like, oh, they're pulling Joplin's agreement to look at it. And I'm like, yes, they are. So we appreciate that collaboration between the two. Oh, they're welcome to look, but they would have to be a union. So that's, yeah. So yeah, it's definitely something that we see as a positive for all of our employees coming in.
Yeah. Carrie and Crystal, do you have anything to add that you'd like to say?
We just did our financial salaries this year, and we agreed upon salaries, and that's what we worked on.
Yeah.
And when I got here this evening, Dr. Saketa mentioned that, he was glad we came to the agreements and hoped that my other bargaining agreement school was as easy as Joplin was. I can tell you it is not. However, I can also tell you, as Crystal said, I'm using it as a model for the other district, trying to get it from 9 contracts to 2, maybe. I'd love to get it to 1, but we're working on it. And it is a refreshing to get this situation, to get Joplin done in the positive manner it is, and not the somewhat adversarial that some of the other districts are. And until we get a larger percentage of teachers in the 2 school districts that were mentioned earlier, there will be no collective bargaining agreements there. And these first-year salaries that Dr. Dickey was able to, with your approval, present to us is right now one of the highest in Southwest Missouri. So thank you.
Yes, we're excited for that.
So if you don't have anything else, Crystal, I think that we would ask the board.
Ask the board to approve our and again, we went to ratification last week, and then yes.
They did
Yes.
ratification yesterday?
Yes. So we both have 100% ratification on our side. I'm sure it's
Unanimous
similar.
as well.
And so yes, we'd like to ask the board to approve our collective bargaining agreement for the next year.
Mr. Weaver.
I'm excited. I'm excited.
We'll say it in unison. I move to approve the agreement as presented between Joplin Schools, JNEA, and JESP.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Hartwell, a second by Mrs. Sherrick. Is there any further discussion or questions?
Just a comment. I mean, Crystal, I love hearing that, you guys are all focused around making our school district the best in the state. We talk about a lot as a board that we should be the school district of choice. We see the value and the importance of being able to attract and retain the folks that work here. And so it's great to see that alignment from the board all the way through the district. So great to hear. Thank you.
No, thank you. I mean, it's a team effort, that's for sure. And if we are on the same team here for our students, that's what matters. So thank you.
And I want to appreciate the four of you for being here tonight and for your work, and also express our appreciation to your team. So thank you for this. And we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Please vote.
Yes.
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 Thank you all.
Brings us to the next item.
Ms. Coyne would like to get a picture of the bargaining team and the union.
It's a big deal.
Thank you again. Next up on our agenda is the approval of the April 7, 2026 bond election results. Dr. Saketa?
Okay, as we discussed earlier, just to recap, in Jasper County and Newton County, there were 6,169 votes cast. There were 4,658 yes, 1,511 no, for a percentage of 75.5, which is well above the threshold. And this is for a bond issue of $40 million, and to keep the tax rate at 7616.7616, 76 cents. And I would recommend the Board of Education recognize and approve the bond election of April 2026.
I move for approval of the bond election results.
We have a motion by Mrs. Sherrick, a second by Mr. Robertson. Is there any further discussion? Please vote.
Yes.
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 Yes. Next up is Imagine Learning and Twig Education. Dr. Mwangi.
Yes, and I'll have Dr. Young and Mr. Smith come up to help present. Mr. Smith is one of our middle school science teachers, and Dr. Young helping lead some of our curriculum work. Our K-12 science committee has been working hard. This specifically tonight, what we're bringing to you is for our middle school, and I will let them kind of give you a summary of the process and where they landed.
Yeah, so our PK-12 science team has been working pretty diligently to develop a philosophy for science education for Joplin students. With this, it's kind of served as our anchor for the development of our curriculum frameworks, any potential resources. So it's been helping us guide a lot of our decisions. One of the things is taking a shift and focusing on phenomenon-based instruction within science. So the team has worked diligently to identify resources that would help support some of this instructional need that we have identified. And Twig Education is the one that the team has come to a consensus on. Anything you want to say? Okay. As far as Twig education goes, it is offered by Imagine Learning. Imagine Learning has a digital platform, so it will be fully integrated with Canvas, which is our learning management system. It does still live within the branches of science instruction. So for middle school, it will still be earth and space, life, and physical science. But this resource helps us do some intentional spiraling. As we ended up with the team going through a lot of our data on our map results, we have an opportunity to do a little bit better with some of those areas that are taught in 6th and 7th grade, but tested in 8th. So this resource will be one to further help us with some of that spiraling. So Twig education is a 5-year contract. It equates to $18 per student over that time. And Imagine Learning is going to be giving us access upon your blessing this evening. So we can start doing some additional work with it before the end of the year.
The spiraling that you're talking about, does that spiral both up and down from middle school?
So the resource itself has a lot of different things for not just spiraling of the standards up and down, but it also has resources built within for our EL students, as well as scaffolds for some of our students in special education. So it is a very holistic resource and offering a lot of different components.
So why 5 years? And I ask that because I buy these programs, similar programs for business, and gee, by year 2 you figure out all the things it doesn't do, and you want to go back and say, hey, could you, would you? And they say, hey, no, you signed a 5-year deal. But is there any out clause in it or any modification, any wiggle room to, as you get into it, if it's not exactly what you think, to give you really, if you're talking about having leverage to be able to say, hey, I need some enhancements on this, instead of them saying, nope, you're locked into a 5-year contract?
Yeah, so as far as the resource goes, with working with Imagine Learning, we were given access to the online platform. So we did a lot of digging into it to try to identify all of those holes and ask all of those questions ahead of time. Really, when it comes down to a multi-year contract, we get a pretty substantial fiscal break for a longer commitment. So that's one reason why we do look at 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, and determine what our needs are. As far as an exit clause, I'm not aware of that as far as the contract goes with them.
I think the unique part of curriculum also is when we build out unit frameworks, different than maybe some of the business structure of things, we are not putting all of our eggs into a single basket. So when we build these frameworks together, it is not uncommon when we look at Missouri Learning Standards of where those gaps are that we may supplement different pieces naturally. And so that tends to make curriculum adoptions a little unique from just a typical business type of contract. Anything you want to add from the teacher perspective with that?
When I read it, sir, what caught my eye on it was that it looks like we're paying the 5 years up front.
Yes.
If you pay 5 years up front and there's no out clause, you're completely stuck if there's an issue. That's why I caught it. It's like, that seems odd. Did you guys talk to other districts that are using this, get any feedback from them?
We ended up visiting with one other district that uses it. We had good feedback, but the mindset of science instruction being phenomenon-based is a challenge all on its own. So us trying to shift just our thinking, this is a resource that will help us support that thinking. So we did get positive feedback, but just like anything out there, we're going to find holes in it, as we should, because our kids are unique. We want to make sure that we're offering the best possible opportunity for science instruction. And it is a resource. So the opportunities to continue to further expand upon those opportunities are with Common Labs. So we're going to supplement in those respects. And just other things that teachers have collected and made over the years that they found to be effective instructional tools.
Did you guys have any conversation with them about paying it annually at least, instead of just paying it all up front? I'm not sure if we'll look at it, but I'm looking at Jordan, sir.
You want to speak to that first?
Yeah, we have had that conversation, but in order to get that break, that extra discount, it is up front.
What was the discount worth? Not to put you on the spot, was it like 5% or like 40%?
Can't recall off the top of my head.
I think it was more than 5%, I believe. I would also just add with the process of curriculum adoption purchase, it is not uncommon for us to pay multi-years ahead with resources, anywhere from 3. When we did Into Reading, I think we did a 6-year. And so 5 is pushing that end of the purchase. 3 is definitely very common for us to do. But
Okay, no further questions. Thank you.
But Dr. Young, when we look at this, since you see a resource, this would be comparable to textbook series in a sense.
Yes.
If we're comparing oranges and
Mhm.
pears. Kind of,
Sure.
if we're looking at it from that standpoint. Now, does it, would this system also help our students as they transition into high school as freshmen?
So again, as we're working with this PK-12 team, we're all anchored in that same philosophy. So our curriculum frameworks are taking a look at this vertically. So we've had great conversations where we've not typically had before. So our 8th grade teachers and our 9th grade teachers having those conversations. And even just all of the ideas in the elementary do exist in elementary, building that in through middle school. So yes, it's across the board going to be based in phenomenon science education.
Thank you.
I have a motion to approve Imagine Learning and Twig Education.
Make that motion.
Second.
A motion by Mrs. Musser, a second by Ms. Schroeder. Any further discussion? Please vote.
Yes.
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 Yes. Brings us to our next item on the agenda, summer school applications. Dr. Mwangi.
yes, and I will have Ms. Brewer come up for summer school. We are well underway of getting enrollment kicked into gear and getting students ready for our summer adventure. So I'll let her talk to you about our summer dreaming.
That's right. So I'm here to provide an update. Our theme this year is Summer Dreaming, a Pathway to My Future. So our team has been working together to try to plan a really great experience for kids no matter what grade they're in. We want them to spend all summer dreaming about their future in Joplin. So Joplin offers so many opportunities for kids post-secondary, and we want them to have an opportunity to actually see themselves in those roles. So that's our guiding focus. We are offering summer at the same levels that we have in the past, so elementary, middle, and high school with free breakfast and lunch as we have in the past. Limited bus routes. We really encourage parents to enroll early. That's something I think in the past we've done, haven't done as good of a job communicating as we could. So the reason we start enrollment so early and we ask parents to go ahead and make that decision is so we can start building those limited bus routes. So until we know who we're serving, it's hard for us to build those routes. So we encourage our families to enroll now, and we're offering early childhood all the way up through the high school at multiple sites. We are continuing some of our most popular programs, so Kindergarten Jump Start to focus on that readiness piece that we need for our earliest learners. We're continuing and actually expanding our Kids Academy model that we started at the middle school a couple of years ago. It's something we're all extremely proud of. Our first year, it was just 25 kids we served. Last summer, we increased that to 125, and our goal this summer, we're expanding multiple programs in that area. We want to serve 200 kids in that way. So they spend an entire week actually pretending to be in that career. So it's a really cool opportunity. We have a media camp we're offering this year. Kids will get a chance to record some audio and some video. And then we'll also be expanding to an outdoor careers camp in addition to our healthcare camp we started last year, and then the JPD Kids Academy. And then at the high school, we'll continue offering options for kids that want to recover some credits, or even kids who just want a cool opportunity like our musical theater in the summer. So we're very proud of that. And then something new this year. Really excited about this opportunity. So Compass Academy Network is a free summer program in the month of July. And it's offered, it's a private organization, and it's offered for incoming 6th grade through 9th grade students. There's a lot of similarities in the things that we offer on site here at Joplin schools that they offer off-site. This year it will be at Missouri Southern, and it's a really great match with what we're visualizing for our students as far as hands-on experiential summer experiences. So it provides an opportunity for more families to have more learning this summer. So in the month of July, Compass Academy Network will be offering their service at Missouri Southern, and we encourage Joplin families to consider that. If you have questions, you can always call us or reach out, and we'd like to share some more information with families who are interested in that program. What questions can I answer about summer for you tonight?
think I ask this every year, Katie, so I'll ask again. So you had a really good turnout the last couple of years. And as you look forward to this year, do you see similar number of enrollment? Do you think it's going to be up? Any projection?
We always hope for up, so we want to serve as many kids as we can. Last year, we did have a big impact at the middle school level with the new model that we're choosing. So we anticipate that trend to continue. The more kids that we get to expose to that experience, they're then sharing with their peers how cool it was, and then their peers are joining them the following summer. So we're very hopeful to expand that. Last year, we hit record numbers at the high school level with credit recovery. Mr. Dixon, the principal at the high school, did a phenomenal job making sure he was partnering with the counseling department, classroom teachers, and families to make sure our kids were all caught up and ready. So he has a great system in place for that. So we anticipate more credits earned this summer than we even did last year, which was record setting as well. Thank you.
Best of luck to you, and thank you.
Any other questions?
I'd entertain a motion on summer school application.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. Schroeder, a second by Mr. Hurd. Any discussion? Please vote.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes. Brings us to our next item, the purchase of a skid steer. Dr. Harding.
Yes, since I accepted this job, this has been an ask by the Skillcraft Utility Department for many years, but since we had a tractor, an aging tractor, we could never make it work. And so now with our aging tractor going on the fritz and we're surplusing that, and another issue with our 10-passenger van being shot down by the Missouri Department of Transportation and DESE, we now have some money freed up for the 1A project of the skid steer. And with the multiple construction projects and other projects we have around the district, we would like to divert that money to the purchase of a skid steer. And I will let Dave add on to all the fun things we can do with this skid steer.
Buggy rides are at the top of the list for what we can do. As we looked at trying to make the best decision and buying the most versatile equipment, our utility and construction maintenance department, we do quite a bit. Matter of fact, a job came up today that we're going to be looking at down at South Middle School on the backside near the cross country. We've got a lot of debris that's formed up around the drainage whistles back there that we're going to have to clear out. The skid steer would be a great opportunity for us to use that and assist in that. So as we have looked at the options that we had, the things that we could do if we already have some pieces of equipment, some attachments for the skid steer that came to us via Franklin Tech a couple of years ago. So we're starting off with a good thing. So having the piece of equipment on hand for snow removal and those other things will be a great asset to our department. And so we're asking you to consider the low bid of Kubota of Joplin for $76,039.
So Dave, just two questions. By doing this, buying this in-house at $76,000, first question is, what's the lifespan of the skid steer normally?
Typically, a lifespan would be similar to that of a tractor, and we have normally seen 20 years in most of that similar equipment.
Okay, and in a given year, not hold you to the penny, but how many dollars do you think you'll avoid spending with an external service by having this in-house?
I would couple that with two things. One, doing the work in-house, as well as there have been occasions where we've rented mini excavators and those kind of things. I would say that we're probably in the $6,000 to $7,000 a year in deferred cost by having our own equipment.
Okay, so if you just say it's $7,000, it's 20-year lifespan, it more than pays for itself twice over.
Correct.
Okay, I would make a motion to approve the skid steer as presented by David and Matt.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Hurd, a second by Mrs. Schroeder. I had a question. I'm assuming this is a new skid steer with warranty?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Mr. Pettit, quick question as well. I've purchased from Kubota's on a couple of tractors and another in my professional career. Do they give you the guarantee? I know they have a guaranteed lowest price for public school districts. Is that correct?
Right. We work with those. Sometimes we're able to do procurement through either one of our purchasing cooperatives or the Missouri Purchasing Cooperative for public entities. And so we use that to leverage that pricing.
Very good.
Any other discussion? Questions? Please vote.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes. Then finally, Dr. Harding's cell phone tower amendment.
Yeah, so this is an amendment for the cell phone tower at Joplin High School. We have been receiving rent from this company, Parallels Company, since 2019. And this is just an amendment to help fund the movement of that tower. And that cost will be in a 10-year extension to the rent payments, and that will cover the cost of the movement of the tower.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
A motion by Mr. Robertson, a second by Mr. Hurd. Is there any further discussion?
I would just make the comment that by extending the term, it covers the cost up front of the movement of it. So I think, Matt, you and your team did a nice job on that. So thank you for that.
Yes, thank you.
Yep.
Please vote.
Yes.
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 Yes. And finally, Dr. Saketa.
Yes, I'd like to address the board and more importantly to extending to the community and the staff and everything else, everybody else in Joplin who's a school district, who has interest in the school district, pays taxes in the school district, has students in the school district. I want to briefly reflect on a few developments from the Missouri General Assembly and how they align with our legislative priorities as a district. Back in November, our board again approved legislative priorities, prioritizing public funding, public education in opposition to privatization, tax and revenue considerations, property assessments, and the list goes on and on. Very proud of the board for their support of legislative priorities and how important it is for our district. First, we remain concerned about the continued approach to limit funding tied to the student adequacy target, and more broadly, the need to fully fund Missouri's foundation formula. These mechanisms are intended to define and support what it truly costs to educate a child in Joplin and all over our state. When they are not fully supported, the burden shifts locally, and that creates long-term challenges for sustained level of service for our students and what they deserve. Second, we are closely watching efforts to introduce the A through F letter grades for schools and districts. While we strongly support accountability, we also believe accountability systems must reflect the full scope of school performance. Our educators are engaged daily in continuous improvement using multiple measures, focusing on student growth and responding to the needs of all of our students. A single letter grade simply cannot capture the work that's done by our staff in a meaningful way. Third, we continue to monitor legislation that could fundamentally change Missouri's property tax structure. Our position remains clear. We support policies that protect local control and ensure stable, predictable funding for schools. Any reduction in local revenue must be thoughtfully considered, and if pursued, must include a reliable replacement to avoid unintended consequences for all of our students in our community. Finally, we are already seeing the impact of Senate Bill 3 and similar measures that constrain revenue growth. These policies, while well-intended, can create long-term funding limitations and make it more difficult for districts to plan, staff, and sustain programs over time. As superintendent and this board, we will continue to advocate for a balanced approach, one that fully funds public education, protects local decision-making, and ensures accountability systems that truly reflect the work happening in our schools. And I encourage our Joplin district citizens to be informed and know what is being proposed and how it affects our schools, and to please engage. Everybody's attention of this is of utmost importance. Thank you.
Dr. Saketa, thank you for your advocacy. I know you're a known quantity at the Missouri Capitol in Jefferson City, and we receive great feedback for your advocacy on our behalf, as well as the individuals around this table who have joined me and others throughout the years in the Missouri General Assembly. So I'd also like to say we have representatives in our area who are favorable to public education, and we're happy for their support. But above all else, thank you for working on these issues consistently.
Thank you. Very good.
Thank you for the comments.
Say, if I could just make a comment, I'd like to just recognize and thank Veronica as our president this past year. I think the professionalism, how you kept us informed, how you kept us on task, you did a really nice job on that. And then also David as the vice president, your efforts in the long-term facilities committee, the thoughtful approach that you had on that, I thought was really well done and well measured. And I know Matt coordinated it and made it happen, but I know you worked a lot behind the scenes on that. But I think those things coming together is really what helped get that across the finish line. But thank you to both of you for this past year.
Thank you.
And I would agree. Thank you very much. Appreciate all your help too on the issue. Everybody in this room had a part in that. And I think it'll benefit children for many years to come. So with that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I have a motion by Mrs. Sherrick, a second by Mr. Robertson. Please vote.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes. We're adjourned.